And then definition of done is very, very important. I think we discussed this during the scoping and prioritization, how it's really done. Again, an example for this is we are actually committing. Once the team commits to the sprint and the sprint backlog, they would sign up for what we call as a definition of done. If these 3-4 items are done for this sprint, that means it's done, it's complete, the sprint is successful, right? That means the code is completed, code is reviewed, unit tests are written and executed by the team, and then integration is done, and then there's a bit of documentation for that. So that means it's all done. So after 2 weeks, if we can achieve this for the item list and item details pages for the e-commerce website, give yourselves a big thumbs up. So that means it's all done. That sprint is a success. And then, of course, on the top of it, you also talk about the defects that could come through from this. No P1 or P2 or level 1 or level 2 defects. So depending on phase 1, priority 1 or severity, we talk about S1, S2, L1, L2 defects. That means no huge major defects, no showstopper defects, no severe defects. There are some defects which are minor or which are cosmetic, that's okay, which are aesthetic basically, that's okay. You can still say that it's done, it's a success. So that's how we'll actually come up with a definition of done. Again, a very good technique in Scrum, we should have that. And the sprint backlog, as part of the sprint planning, all the team agrees and buys into the definition of done. So we were talking about the sprint burn down chart all along. So as I briefly mentioned, I just touched upon this. So if we have, let's say, about 75 story points for this sprint, which is to be done in 2 weeks. So that 75 story points is actually the kind of capacity for this sprint. So in 2 weeks time, we need to complete the 75 story points of work. So that's the chunk of work that we have accepted. Remember the seven items, that 7 stories that that the team accepted. Yes, we will do this and we will commit. That 7 stories is the worth of those in terms of the size of those and the effort required to complete those 7 stories is 75 story points, let's assume, or roughly 70, even if it's about 70 is what we say. So the 7 stories have got 70 story point worth of effort. I'm just taking a rough kind of truncation of that. So let's say 7 converts to 10 story points per story, and we have got 7 story points. So roughly about 70 is the total effort that is required to complete in this sprint of 2 weeks. So the first week we start with how much work is to be done by the end of this 2 sprints, 70. But then how much will be the first day? We still have got 70 points, right? We've just started. We didn't even complete anything. So on the first day, we still have got 70 points worth of work to be done. At the end of day 1, we have completed, let's say, there's an example here it's shown, but then for us, we can just say, in this case of our example, we've completed on day 1, 60 points. On day 2, we completed 50 points. On day 3, we completed 40, right? So when we completed so much, that means that we did not complete 40 points or 50 points, we actually completed 10 points per day, roughly, right? So which means every time the effort on passing of each day, the effort is burning down, and then the amount of work that is required is actually coming down. It's actually going, 10 points further down. So by the end of, let's say, day 1, we complete 10, so that comes down to 60. Day 2, we complete 20 points, because 10 plus 10, right? 20 points. That comes to 50. Day 3, it comes to 40, because we've completed 3 10s, 30. Like that, so on and so forth. By the end of day 10, it should complete, let's say, now I'm just assuming that we're going back to our thing. By the end of 10 days, we're completing all the sprint. But actually, if you look at this example, it should be end of day 7, you should complete 70, which is effectively the midweek, and we can have some testing done. We have got more capacity to spend in that case. But this is what a burn down chart is. Very, very simple to use, very effective, because everybody will get a clear view of what is the effort required to be done, what is the effort that is spent, and how much of effort is there. If you want to add spare capacity, then we can actually take some people out, we can bring in some people, we can prioritize the things depending on how we are going. So this is called a burn down chart. Again, ideally done by the team, but practically it's the Scrum Master who actually owns this Burndown chart. They do this, but then the team ideally can actually do this one on themselves. Plotting is simple. There are some tools out there, again, like Jira. Jira would give you that automatically. Trello, Jira, and TFS, the Team Foundation.